Unmute everybody. Yeah, we're gonna get started. We're not gonna let the music play us in too much. Hey everybody, it's Francisco here for Sports Goofs number 118. I'm joined by my buddy Charles. Andrew will pop in at some point later on. We will see. But yeah, this is late start time for tonight and for the week itself, because we usually do a Tuesday show, and yet here we are on Thursday competing with the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. That's how cocky we are with the quality of our show. All right, let's see if we can nab some people on those Nielsen ratings.
We could steal them.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on Twitter. So if anybody listens to all the tweets and stuff that's gonna go on with Thursday Night Football and everything like that. So who's playing tonight?
It's
Denver
the Browns
and Cleveland,
with
right?
everybody injured.
Yeah.
And then the Broncos.
The Broncos, who are not a good team.
Nope.
And started off 3-0 because they played teams that were worse than them. All right, yeah, it's one of these shows, right? It's one of those shows where Prani's Hockey World is happy to sponsor us for sure. You
the
get
best hockey world.
Yeah, and Hockey World is where I'm at right now, Charles, because it is making me happy. And you can go to Prani's Hockey World and make yourself happy. Go to our website, click on the banner, get the best selection, lowest prices on closeout and prior products, right? All that clearance stuff from the last season. Get some of the new stuff too if you feel like it. But they got great deals on everything, so check them out for that stuff. And yeah, there's stuff that went down over the past week. We got a lot to go through. Charles has some wrestling. We're not going to have a traditional cage. It's going to be a different experience.
I can give you one blip on a cage thing before we go from there, because the G1 Climax winner was also decided today. And I feel I have to address that real quickly as I do my live stage rumble. It was Okada who won. Kota got hurt. They didn't get a Zack Sabre Jr. I love me some Okada. But damn, Ghetto, stop sucking as a booker. I love Okada, but he ain't going to take it from Shingo, right? Okay, that's all I got for you on this basic cage, because we're doing a Sports Goof Royal Rumble as we live watch Crown Jewel that happened a couple hours ago. It's a full 4 hours. We're only going to probably go to the 2. If we can get any live reactions, we're starting off with Edge and Seth Rollins at the Hell in a Cell match. Expect some buffoonery and, Hater Nation, Holleration in his dancery. Go ahead, Francisco.
All right, so we're trying to find a way to organize all of this. I don't know how long this episode is going to go. Who knows? Heck, I might talk about by myself towards the end of it. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, Major League Baseball playoffs. All right, let's jump into baseball. Let's just go right now. Let's go with baseball, all right? So we'll start with the National League, because that's the league. I guess there's less of the higher emotions from at least half of or 2/3 of our guys here. But yeah,
I'm here now.
Oh, you got perfect.
Hey, okay.
Andrew, did you hear this disclaimer about what we're doing about the cage?
I heard bits and pieces of it.
Okay, we're doing a Royal Rumble, basically, because I'm going to be live streaming this match, or live reaction, and starting with Seth and Edge and a Hell in a Cell. Be ready, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sirree. So, we got that going. So, baseball, playoffs, National League Championship Series between my hated Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers, defending World Series champions, Mickey Mouse Championship. Anyways,
you guys, Seth Rollins looking like the Green Power Ranger. I'm going to type in some stuff into the chat because I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to put that out there.
3-1 lead right now, the Atlanta Braves against the Dodgers. We've seen this before. This happened last year. And the Braves did as all Atlanta teams do, and they choked. Man, I feel like part of me wants to be like, I feel like it's going to be different this year, boys, so I can find a way to jinx the Braves into choking. That way I can both be wrong, but feel right at the same time. I feel like that's what I want to do, and I feel like that's what I'm going to do. Because this Braves team looks different, and they're... just gotta put on a brave face. There we go, Freddie. There we go. The only guy that I can't seem to beat any of the personal records of in Forza Horizon 4, because man, you played that game a lot. And I cannot surpass you. You are very much more skilled than I am with regards to virtual driving. Anyways, yeah, the Braves are up. They are hitting. They are finding ways to keep the Dodgers from finding any sort of footing. But sheesh, man, yeah, Forza.
That's more battle fatigue, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to, because Trey Turner's now out, Kershaw's out, everybody's kind of injured, and I know what they're saying, Charles, you can't pull the injury bug, but why not? I mean, I'm not saying the injury bug, those guys out there, is going to afflict the whole thing because it's been blown runs basically in the first 4 innings. But you got to give the Dodgers a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, right? Because no one likes to fall behind 3-1, but it's not like they're 3-0. Well, you can see how the Braves can be beaten if the Dodgers just keep their heads together.
Well, they've started Albert Pujols tonight, so we'll see if that works for them. They are at home, so they might get one of those like last minute pushes. I mean, this is their game 5, so it's the final one in LA, and they'll have to try and find a way to beat them over in Atlanta if they're going to pull this off again. But it's different this time. There are crowds. There are people in the stands. There's way more pressure. And
you're saying Dodgers are paper champions, just Rona champions, and that's it.
Well, they need to legitimize that Mickey Mouse championship. The Lightning did it, so it's their turn. The Lakers didn't do it, so yeah. LA teams maybe they fold when it comes to actually being in front of other people. Maybe that's the way things are. I mean, the Lakers surely folded in their opener against the Warriors. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. Yeah, there's some petty leaning over. Yeah, so by the way, NBA opened on Tuesday. So the Heat opening tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's all going down. Lots of stuff.
Save that for the NBA portion.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for now.
But let me ask you this though: are the Braves just kind of, are they good, or are they just kind of playing a gas team? Because they were kind of unexceptional the first go around against the Brewers, and I've watched a couple of the NL games. I'm just like, I think it's more the Dodgers kind of screwing it up than the Braves putting out there. And maybe it's just because I don't know anybody really that's on that team besides Freddie Freeman. And I know who's on that roster, so when I make that declarative statement, it's because I'm being a dick. Plain and simple. But if I can name you all the Dodgers things, and I also don't think Snitker is a fantastic manager, but I'll give the Braves credit. They don't have an ace pitcher. They don't even have a 4-star pitcher going on there. And they're keeping it consistent. But depending who they meet, you're either going to meet a Red Sox team, if they come back, who has just bombers on their batting squad, or a Houston team that is just healthy now, because there's Odorizzi who had to come back, Alvarez had to come back, and some things are not coming in there. But
Braves have already started. They're up 2-0 now.
Case in point. What we had mentioned a couple minutes ago.
Kind of to go to your comment earlier, Charles, about whether the Braves are good or not. I think if a team is able to make it deep into the playoffs on multiple occasions, I think they're good. I mean, this is probably a bit of a hot take, but I think that 4 years in a row where the Buffalo Bills made it to the Super Bowl, I know they never were able to close the deal, but I think they were legitimately one of the best teams in the sport for that span. Because it takes a shit ton just to get that far, then to do it 4 times in a row is incredible. I mean, like I said, they didn't close the deal, so obviously, kind of like the 1990s Braves, they had that huge streak of 14 consecutive seasons where they won the division.
Yeah.
And they only made it to the World Series
95 in a strike shortened year.
Yep.
95 and then
98, I believe.
95. No, they lost the World Series in 1991, 1992. They won in 95. They lost in 96, and they lost in 99.
Oh, 99. But my question to you, Andrew, is in comparison to those Bills teams to the Braves now, because going to 2 NLCS in a row is good, but doesn't that just mean that you're dominant in a weak sauce standing in the sense of that pennant, that league, whatever the hell they call it in baseball, the conferences, because you have that, but then you have the true teams that are just dominating. That Heat era, baby, with them big three, or with the Patriots in the resurgence of Brady's career before he left to Tampa. Because you could be very good, but you're not the team. You're not the dynasty. You're not – I would say the Dodgers is that team because obviously I'm petty, and I'm saying that Dodgers, they went back-to-backs basically in World Series, and they lost to a cheating Houston and lost to a Boston that cheated, but no one wanted to investigate into it. And then when they go again, they won the World Series. So Atlanta, I would agree with you that they're very good, but I don't think that they're not the grand
the Braves.
They're the NL.
The Braves playing this season.
They just win.
But the Braves playing this season, having seen them, because they play the Marlins in the same division. They lost Ronald Acuna, and I blew my load on that night. I was there. When it happened, too. It was a great day. But
Edge just had an execution.
I edged for sure on that day. Anyways, damn it, man. Look, I've been waiting since Tuesday to talk about this stuff. Anyways, but they've been playing really inspired baseball, like inspired baseball. That's where they are right now. They are a very inspired team. They overcame the loss of their best player, aside from Freddie Freeman, in Acuna. And then they went out, instead of selling at the trade deadline, they bought in and got some guys to bolster themselves to make a run at the NL East. And you know what? Good on them for actually identifying that the NL East was weak anyways. Like, it was at that, like, there was still, like, the Marlins were still in it in some ways when Acuna went down. That was how weak the NL East is. So the Mets fell apart. The Phillies could never get it going, and the Nationals are done. They closed their championship window. Now they're in a rebuild. So for the Braves, it was like, all right, let's do it again and roll it back and try and get in the playoffs and see what happens. And they got pretty. They've taken advantage of the fact that one of those California teams was gonna knock out the other one. So you had that, and then you had the Milwaukee Brewers, who were, well, now they are the weakest of those division winners for this season. The Braves were able to outmatch them. So even though it was actually a pretty close series, but still, the Braves were able to beat them out. And now they're at a point where they're back at the same spot they were last season. And they did play in Texas last season. There was a crowd, but now they've got true home and away crowds. And I don't think they're going to let this one slip. I mean, we'll see. It's 2-0 already. It's 2-0, well, but I don't think they'll have enough to beat the American League champion. But that may be part of my bias. But the American League champions right now, because just of the sheer amount of runs that are being scored by those teams, is ridiculous. But we'll see. But I think the Braves are playing so inspired that they're gonna beat the Dodgers and make it to the World Series.
Well, I will add this. I didn't really read it full, but apparently Mookie Betts said that this 3-1 deficit feels different than the 3-1 deficit last season. And I'd agree. I'd agree with him because, I mean, it looks like Joe Kelly's injured.
Oh.
I'm watching the game right now, and Trainer's heading out to him.
Yeah, it's still at the top of the first right now, and it's been sitting there for quite a bit. So yeah, maybe that's.
Nope, and he's gone. He's out.
Okay, well, there's that.
There's their excuse.
And I'm hearing an echo, by the way.
Joe Kelly meme face here.
I'm hearing an echo, by the way, from someone's speakers. So, yeah. What was it? Okay, yeah, it does feel different.
Yeah, and the thing is, so let's say Los Angeles does come back to win this game. So it's 3-2. Atlanta's got 2 straight games at home, and their Truist Field, or whatever the hell it's called, has been electric the past couple of days. So whereas last year it was literally neutral territory, I don't think anyone was allowed in, or if there
was a small crowd at Globe Life, whatever, in where the Rangers play in Arlington.
You would imagine, I know that's roughly halfway between Georgia and California, just going off rough estimates of locations, but I'd imagine that LA fans would travel a bit further, and that would be a bit more of an LA friendly crowd, if any, sort of biased to either side. But anyway, yeah, I think this one is different, and I'll be honest, I really, I mean, aside from the fact that I don't want the Astros to win ever again, I want them to suffer.
But you want Alex Cora to win?
Until the last member of the 2017 team is gone. I would, aside from that, I think it would be really cool if the Braves and the Red Sox met, and here's why. That would be an all Boston matchup. If we're going all the way back, the Braves started in Boston, then moved to Milwaukee, then moved to Atlanta.
Ugh.
So I couldn't give a shit about Alex Cora. I think.
You're gonna rub them nuts about Boston. You have to think of what you put in the universe. We all just said we don't think the Braves are good enough to win the World Series, and you leave that hope to Alex Cora just getting it clean.
Well, we all have separate things that we want from this universe, but I want chaos.
Continue, Andrew. Continue, Andrew.
Well, I believe in as much as I believe in chaos, and I would love chaos, I believe in justice as well.
And Alex Cora was the cheater.
One of.
The figurehead. He's the Michael Corleone.
I want to use an analogy here, but I don't want to bring it up because it's a bit controversial. I'll tell you guys after the fact, but just because you have a figurehead doing it doesn't absolve the people who followed it of any responsibility. I mean, let's go to professional responsibility for lawyers here. Just because your senior associate tells you to do something, if you know it's wrong, you can't get away with it just by saying, well, this guy told me to do it.
This is lesser of all evils, though, man.
I just want chaos.
I'd rather I'll take Houston, where it's been years removed, and this time it's earned because Dusty Baker. It's not as if it's still Hinch or whatever his name kind of going. I mean, all the people that oversaw are gone except for some of the players, but it's not like they're going to move their best guys, and we accept it. Versus the man that Rob Manfred did not have the testicular fortitude. Oh, Steph's about to go for that buckle bomb in the cage. To have for the table to have that testicular fortitude to actually suspend him for life. Whereas Carlos Beltran got blacklisted before he even started a major league game as a manager, and then Hinch, at least Hinch was out and then got put back in by a different team. Boston played a dirty ass game and said, "Oh, we don't know about it, so we're just going to take Raw Road and then we're going to go from there." And they purposely planned this out. That is, they are the corruption. They are the infestation because their little title that they won a couple years back was also fraudulent. But no one came down on them. That's my piece. I'll keep it to it. I'm very passionate about it.
Well then,
that's just pretty good, by the way.
American League Championship Series. Since we're on this already, Houston, Boston.
Go Houston.
Yeah, I'm on the Astros band. I don't want another. Look, enough with the Boston teams. I don't want them to be good. I don't want them to be good. And this is gonna be fun.
The man was pushed. All right, steps on top rope. Edge pushes him off. He connects with a steel chair and went through the table. And I will be giving ratings for every match that ends as long as we're watching this.
All right.
Now we're at 5.
Houston Astros up 3-2 on the Red Sox. They are at home and they are ready to close it out. There is controversy with the umpires and things like that between the Sox and the Astros. Some questionable calls. But I am all for the chaos. I want the Astros to win. I want it to happen. And I wanted it to the point where I wanted them to face the Dodgers. So I'm hoping there's still a slim chance that this could happen, where the Dodgers could once again pull off the 3-1 a reverse sweep or whatever you want to call it. But I either way, I still want the Astros to win because I want that to be put out into the universe, and I want the off season for baseball to be full of salt, like just a heaping massive amount of salt, like the saltiest of all off seasons.
Do you think
are we talking Bonneville salt flats here?
Oh yeah. We are talking the Dead Sea right now.
But do you really feel there would be salt if it was 2 years removed? Because I think it would be like I was about to quit baseball
for you. For you've already made peace with the fact that the Astros and all that stuff. All right, your primary target is the man helming Boston, but the baseball world. The rest of the baseball world, and I don't know how much Marlins fan. Like, honestly, as a Marlins fan myself, I'm like, we don't really have much of a dog in the fight, anyways, right?
You just don't want Atlanta, plain and simple.
I just don't want Atlanta because fuck them.
And bear in mind, gentlemen, that Tampa was ousted by the 2017 Astros in the playoffs.
That's true as well. Yeah.
So it's not like I'm just a neutral bystander here.
You also lost to Boston, I believe, in 2018, 2019. Ooh, damn!
So yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like that's how the baseball overall landscape, people, because you saw how much with the trash cans and stuff, that thing went the entire season for them, especially once more and more people were allowed into ballparks. And even now, like between them and the Red Sox, there's a lot of helping of booze. And I would assume if the Astros do win the American League Championship, whoever they face, I mean, it'll be awful in LA. They're going to need like National Guard to come in and protect people at the stadium, because Dodgers fans are violent enough as it is. I can't even imagine if it's between the Astros and the Dodgers in the World Series. Right? Those guys are going to need a real, like a massive security detail to get between the hotel and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's going to be crazy. And I want the chaos, guys. I'm all for it, right? The Marlins made the playoffs last year, all that stuff, but it was whatever, Mickey Mouse, right? Oh, it was all that stuff. So, yeah. No, let's go with chaos. That's what I want. So bad right now.
Edge, what the hell are you doing, bud?
All right. Is that all we have for baseball? Is that all we want to talk about for baseball?
No, I got one. One. The universe clapped back on me. Last week when Andrew wasn't around, damn, Edge just went from the top rope of a chair. When Andrew was not on, I did my clapback segment. It was basically kind of giving everybody who gave the middle finger to the Yankees. I gave it back to you guys tenfold. But the universe clapped back me. Why, boys? Because guess who's back? Back again. Aaron Boone's back. Damn it.
Yep.
Why? 3-year deal. Technically, it's a 2-year deal with an option. His contract actually extends past Cashman, which scares me because I feel like Hal is going to be like, well, I got a yes man and I got a guy who's been around too long, so I think he's actually going to let Cashman just walk away at the end of it. I don't like it. I wanted Rick Renteria. I wanted everybody but Aaron Boone, to be honest with you. And now our focus is going to be on a shortstop, which is fine. Give me Trevor Story and his overrated ass, please. Or, we eyeing Jose Altuve. Just, what you got to do? You got to resign Aaron Judge. Plain and simple. Just do it. But that's the universe clap back on me. That's the universe clap back on me for talking trash about Tampa when Andrew wasn't on the show, because it was plentiful, Andrew. I don't know if you heard it, but I was mean about Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this reverse clapback is brought to you by House of Ashes, another video game today. Yeah, we got some neat stuff. Got some spooky stuff this month.
Wait, Aaron Boone was back for blood, apparently. Yeah. Joined in on the co-op from Turtle Rock Studios, who made Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2. We all always love Left 4 Dead 2. We love Coach. My dog's even loving in the background if you can hear it. But that's all I want to say about the MLB in regards to that. It's like, why? And I knew it was going to happen when it wasn't like an immediate fire. Whereas you have the Padres who are like, let's just fire this guy. And you have the Cardinals. That was the other thing. The Cardinals fired their manager after they went on that hot run and get a limited division round or the wild card round. And they said, philosophical differences. Whatever that means in baseball. One day, maybe you two fine gentlemen who know the sport better than I do can explain to me what philosophical differences in baseball means, because to me it only means, are we going to spend or not spend? That's it. Philosophical differences in basketball and football, I'm assuming in hockey, makes sense when it comes to lineups and everything like that. What is philosophical differences in baseball? But he was out. I thought that was dumb.
The most I can think of is if you want a more defensive-minded team than like a team that puts up offense, but it's still kind of in baseball it's kind of weird. I mean, our Marlins GM even stated this season, she was like, I didn't, because the Marlins actually scored a ton of runs.
Francisco, wait, we're recapping the NBA. 26-5 Miami-Milwaukee. Suck it, your Rays.
I just looked at the score crawl. Well, look at that. All right, well, Let's move on. I want to do a segment here. I want to do real MVPs. Okay, I've been sitting on this for quite a bit. And do I even have a graphic for that? I keep forgetting. There it is. Gosh darn it. So real MVPs. I got two of them. For this week, and you guys can name a couple other ones. But I'm gonna go with one that's actually serious. Enes Kanter. And I think, yeah. Enes Kanter. So he spoke out against China and posted some things on Instagram that were pro Tibet, free Tibet and all that stuff. And of course, the Chinese Communist Party hated that and have now banned all Boston Celtics games from being broadcast in China, as he plays for the Boston Celtics this season. And he's already basically here on political asylum from Turkey regardless, so he's basically just gonna keep saying what he wants to say and trying to stand up for basic human rights. And that is a real MVP. That is somebody who doesn't care. That is somebody who does not curtail to the CCP, unlike certain other high-profile NBA players that plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he wore number 23, then switched to number 6 because he misses the days when he was in South Beach. Oh man, yeah. This is personal, guys. This is stuff I work. This is stuff I work in. This is stuff I'm reading and whatever. And things are getting hot and heavy in the area of the world. And yeah, Enes Kanter, you are a real MVP, man. You say what you need to say, and you stand up, and you don't let the dollar bills, affect you. And I'm assuming now that we've said this, we are also banned in China, guys. So. All right. Yeah. Go. You could suck it, Chinese Winnie the Pooh. So there we go. All right. Okay. So that's one. I want to get that real MVP. The other one, surprisingly, is FIFA. Yeah, FIFA. You guys, these are people. This is an organization that should be far from a real MVP, but they may be chipping away at the EA monopoly on sport of the football of both kinds, So FIFA is currently negotiating with Electronic Arts with regards to the license to the FIFA name and the teams that fall under that. As of right now, they are asking EA to pony up about $1 billion, as I, do the Dr. Evil thing, for every 4 years to keep the exclusive license, or else they will move on and let their license spread to others. So this is huge because FIFA is massive around the world, even here in the United States. It is massive. It's bigger than Madden. It is bigger than Madden. And EA has been lining their pockets, copying and pasting last year's version, especially on the Switch. The Switch version is basically a PS3 version from 2012 or something that they keep copying and pasting. Literally, they even tell you that it's just basically them swapping names. That's the first time I think anybody's really admitted to it. But yeah, EA may lose it, and I'm hoping they do, because I think FIFA sees more dollar signs. They're losing out on all that Ultimate Team money and things like that, and they're like, what if we spread that out to other companies and have more FIFA games, more FIFA mobile games, you know? Maybe they saw what happened with Disney and the Star Wars license. Like, you know, we don't want EA dragging our name through the mud, as they did with the release of Star Wars Battlefront 2. And EA right now, who's facing lawsuits in Europe with regards to their, as they called it, surprise mechanics, basically loot boxes and microtransactions that are siphoning money from a lot of people. It's essentially legalized gambling, for now at least. That's what EA does, and that's what EA's into. So FIFA doing this and allowing the license to go to somebody else, might have some first party, like Sony might want to make one of their own, or you could have 2K trying to get into the game, or just various mobile developers that will probably want to get that license and have that stuff on the phone. And yeah, and it doesn't mean that FIFA is, holier than thou and is trying to stop all of this microtransaction stuff. No, they want to get in on it, but anything that can stop EA from having these exclusive licenses, and also for getting us back to the days of like the late 2000s or the early 2000s and the late 90s, when there were just so many different types of sports games for all of the sports, right? There was a variety of things, and people could find the series that worked for them, right? Some people weren't into World Series baseball, but you're into All-Star baseball, you're into the MLB series on PlayStation and stuff like that. There was more of a mix and a match and a variety, and we're hoping maybe the NFL will follow suit. But I think maybe the NFL has less of a soul than FIFA, which is quite a statement. But yeah, that's what's going on right there. So I'm just gonna give them a real MVP for that. Yeah.
They also have Konami has the PES league.
Oh, don't even talk about Konami right now.
It up. Yeah, they screwed it up.
Don't even talk
about why FIFA is gonna want to get a cut of it.
All right, so we're gonna go. This kind of
something's about to happen.
We're gonna go.
Oh, something's about to happen.
Charles,
I love how I'm trying to make this segue, but
Charles, is this live?
Yes.
Well, this was from a couple hours ago.
But he's watching it for the first time.
They were in Saudi Arabia for the pay-per-view, but I was at work. So this was today.
Yeah.
I've kept off the spoilers, so I had planned on doing this live stream, and the first match is this, and I was like, this is probably going to be the best match on the card. So you're going to start me with this, and you're going to start the show with this? Our show? And they're like, yeah, we're going to get you stupid-ass ratings. I'm like, hell yeah. Because this is how we win, Andrew. This is how we beat the NBA, Thursday Night NFL, and then the NLCS in one night by my dumb ass giving reactions at you and Francisco trying to be like actual moderators and professionals, and there's me be like, I'm just winging it. Well, what are you doing, Edge?
All right. So I want to get to Gottlieb's Goons. Because Gottlieb's Goons, because I have a lot of goons, guys, and this is what I've been waiting to talk about all week. We finally got some real MVPs. It's been a while since we have real MVPs, but the sports world hasn't had many. There were two true notable ones, but now we have some. But yeah, we're gonna give one to Konami, Charles, because that I didn't mean to actually talk about them, but we're going to, because they released what I think it was called eSoccer or something like that on. I think it was on Steam only for now, and it's basically their next evolution of Pro Evolution Soccer. It's free to play and all that stuff, but apparently they botched everything about it. Animations, everything was botched about it. So they screwed up there, and that's gonna be fun. Yeah, so that went down. Everybody talked about that, and there are some pretty funny glitches and stuff like that. People made memes about it from I think I can still download it. I should have downloaded it and had it in the background for everybody to watch the madness. But eSoccer, that was a big blunder by Konami, or eFootball. That's what eFootball, eSoccer, whatever you want to call it. But that was a big blunder by them. So there's that. But next, I do want to talk about. All right, the Washington football team, guys. The Washington football team, they are goons. So, as you all know, they are being investigated right now for many scandals. And there's a massive cloud hanging over the team. And really, I mean, it's always been there, but now it's darker. It's much darker. And of course, Dan Snyder is a horrible owner. And the Washington football team the culture is damn good, right, guys?
That is such a great line.
It's awesome. It's an awesome line. I love how Tree keeps using it, but it's great. The culture for the Washington football team was like, you know what's a good thing that we should do? We should honor Sean Taylor, former University of Miami Hurricane. Tragically died back in 2007 protecting his family from an armed burglary. And died young. And was 24. Yeah, died young. Had already made 3 Pro Bowls by that point, was just a superstar. And who knows what could have been with the rest of his life and career. And he played for the Washington football team at that time. And they did honor him with a place in the Ring of Honor. That seemed appropriate, yes. And he only played 3 or 4 seasons with them, and that was it. And unfortunately, but they decided, that was the honoring that they would do for him. Well, guys, they are getting investigated, and of course John Gruden was fired because of this investigation, because his leaked email was to the president of the Washington football team at the time. Allen. Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason that came out, and who knows what else is going to come out of this, and that's going to be fun for the rest of this season. But the Washington football team's like, we gotta get the public support back, guys. We gotta rally the team. We're second in the NFC East, even though we're never gonna catch the Cowboys. But we need some good feels here. So they decided to retire Sean Taylor's football number, basically. His number 21. And it seemed like, that seems like a nice gesture, but 14 years later, guys, 14 years later, that's when you decide to retire his number, and you just so happen to be investigated by federal agents with regards to all your sleaziness around the same time. Okay, fine.
Right when somebody got fired for something they were even an employee of your organization for?
Exactly. Okay. All right, Washington football team. We'll bite. When's the ceremony? Oh, well, we're announcing it this Thursday right now, and it's this Sunday. Oh, this upcoming Sunday. What do you mean this upcoming Sunday? Yeah, we have 4 days. Oh, you've got this all planned out, didn't you? Sure we do. Well, the Washington football team had the ceremony, and it was as hastily put together as you could imagine. There's a wonderful tweet by a Washington football team beat writer or somebody covering the NFL as to just the sheer lack of anything for that ceremony. They did bring his family, but Sean Taylor's brother didn't even know about this happening at all. And the team president right now said, "Oh, we've had this plan for months. We had this plan before the season even started."
Oh, I saw this move.
And you're like, no,
guys,
there's no way you guys had this planned before this started. And there's no damn way you had this planned before it started, because you would have told people about this. You would have planned it out and told them about this so you could get as much of his family there. So you get as much of your, because it was alumni weekend celebration too, right? So you could get as much of the alumni, at least that played with him or played with him at the University of Miami, to be there to honor his memory and retire his number. You would have planned all of that, Washington football team, but you didn't. You put it together as quickly as possible, and you're like, you had to pick something out there. And one of the very few things people remember about you guys lately, I mean, because you guys haven't won a Super Bowl since, 1990 or whatever? I'm not even sure, 92, 93 or whatever? Like, you haven't been relevant between that time. It was Sean Taylor. And nothing else, nothing more, right? And then you ruined RG3 and all that stuff, but whatever. So, like, they put it together. They named the street in front. This one gets me. This part right here gets me. They named the streets in front of the stadium, passing through Sean Taylor Road or whatever. They took the photo of him and his of not him. He's dead, but his family standing in front of the Sean Taylor Road, and behind them is the wonderful background of 4 porta potties. Because that's how shitty this honor was. Okay? And you know what gets me here is because, oh yeah, we're going to name the stadium the road in front of the stadium after you. You guys want a new football stadium. You guys want to move out of Landover, Maryland. You guys want to move to DC proper again. Maybe tear down RFK and move back in. So this empty gesture, it's an empty gesture, guys. It's an empty gesture. This empty gesture.
I mean, it's the Kevin Spacey of gestures. I mean, talk about a reference to that.
You guys named the frickin' street, and you don't even plan on being there for much longer. I mean, let's say within the next 5 years, you're gonna be gone from that stadium. So it's an empty gesture. They're going to tear it down, and I don't know what the hell they're going to put there, but it probably won't even be a road that's going to be Sean Taylor Road there anymore. There's not even going to be a road. Who knows? So there you go with that. Dan Snyder met the family, but Dan Snyder can't be around the football team right now. So I don't know where he met them at, maybe at the hotel or whatever, but he shows up. You know, for a ceremony like this, you would think, or at least for a photo op, you dress up in the suit and tie.
Dan Snyder's a classy guy. He met them at the Burger King because that's what he thinks of everybody. That's not him.
No, I would not indignify Burger King with Dan Snyder's presence.
Yeah. Okay, I would agree with you on that. What's the lowest of low when it comes to fast food?
Checkers.
I literally had Checkers for dinner. Shut up. Their chicken's fun.
Waffle House. He met him at a Waffle House. There we go.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm trying to think of a sleazy place. Long John Silver's.
Yeah, Long John Silver's.
There we go. Because when
you should never have fast food fish to begin with.
There we go. Long John Silver's. Met him Long John Silver's.
This match was a 4.75 out of 5. It is not a Dan Snyder 4.75.
And he took a photo with them wearing a Washington football team hoodie. And that was like, it was.
Maybe he took it for Applebee's for 2 for 20s.
It was bad. And then the ceremony that they did have had no speeches, nothing. It was just like, oh, here's the family. They take a photo with the plaque or whatever, or the retired number or the framed jersey. And okay, that was it. Not much fanfare, not much pomp or circumstance at all. And then they had like the number 21 spray painted onto the field and stuff like that. And then they were placing the Kansas City Chiefs. So not only, okay, this is another thing. Not only did they do this, they decided to do this scheduling against a team that they were surely going to lose to. So you would think they'd at least, against the New York Giants or something like that, a team that they could possibly win the game, and have some good fields. and they're in your division. I don't know if you played them already, but still, or against the Eagles. I don't know. You all suck, right? You're gonna lose to the Cowboys, so you can't even do them against them. But yeah, so you lose to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. I don't know who his brother was until this happened. I didn't know he even had a brother. So apparently his brother does like a stupid TikTok dance on top of the number 21. And sports fans, it depends on the situation, have a real thing with you standing on a logo or a number or something like that. It means something. That's why you and Terrell Owens, did this thing on the Star in Dallas, was a big thing, right? Or hockey players, they don't want to stand, like if the logo's printed on the floor of their locker room, they don't ever step on the logo, like that type of stuff. So he just happened to be on the logo. He does like an L, by the way, while he's doing this TikTok thing, and it made a big thing. I don't want to make too much of it. He's inconsequential to all of this, but it's because the VIP section was just happened to be there. So nobody thought, let's just spray paint this thing someplace else or move the VIP section someplace else. There was no thought, no plans, and the Washington football team can go fuck themselves. Hey, that happened in South Park, by the way.
Snyder can. In addition.
Yeah. So there you go. They're goons for that. Another one. I just want to name.
Can I just add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew. Yeah.
Now.
Oh no, is there more to this story?
2 House Democrats sent a letter Thursday to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell demanding the league provide Congress with the results of the investigation into the Washington football team's workplace culture.
The culture is
what can they actually, like, this is my question. What can they actually investigate into? What's the presence? Like, what federal charges are you going to be bringing up here, aside from bad workplace? Are we saying it's going to be kind of violations of civil rights or EOC, or is this
bear in mind, it came
because the NFL is its own adjudicatory body, though.
Right, but bear in mind that it came out that topless pictures of the cheerleaders were sent via email. I mean, that could certainly be characterized as workplace harassment.
It gets a little murky, and I don't want to play lawyer because my brain went to 1,000 things.
All we deal with is murky.
Yeah, and Congress. Oh, the Dodgers are winning 3-2. Look at that. I think I don't know. It's Congress. They put on for show what they want to put on for show. All right.
It feels exactly like a show.
Just like with baseball, so it just happens to be. But yes, but more things against the Washington football team. So there you go. Next, Evander Kane, guys.
Even I know on this, and I'm just always in. It's like I'm reborn.
Yeah. And got Evander Kane. I used to defend him when he was back in Winnipeg, and I always thought he was. I don't know. The Winnipeg Jets fans were, I don't know, putting too much on him, or he was misunderstood or whatever. And then he goes to Buffalo, and nothing good ever happens in Buffalo. And then he goes to San Jose, and it seemed like, he was going to get his stuff together in San Jose, but, he's had problems with regards, maybe some DV issues with his wife and things like that, but the gambling, guys, and he's had a gambling problem for quite a while. That really has affected his relationship with the NHL and the San Jose Sharks and himself. And he owes a lot of money to a lot of people. And this year, he faked a fake vaccination card. He sent a fake vaccination card over to the NHL so that he could play this season. And because of that, he's received a 21-game suspension. A suspension and probably fined for a guy that needs as much money as he can get. And it's not good. It's not good. Evander Kane, he's got talent, but he's got a lot of off the ice issues, and it's just he could. I don't know how he can get some help or what have you, but
Do you want to know what the funny thing is about the vaccination card?
What?
So,
People
aside
McLovin
from
or
the
something?
fact that giving a forged vaccination card, aside from the fact that that's just stupid and funny at the same time, apparently it was not required to submit proof of vaccination.
So he screwed himself.
Stephen Colbert described it as high business. I know you're not taking drug tests, but here's a cup of urine from my.
I didn't know that part. Wow, so he literally shot himself in the foot. Wow. Okay.
It's just like a spouse who knows they're cheating and they just blur it out without realizing it because they don't want to cause suspicion.
And bear in mind, folks, 21 games. I mean,
quarter of the season.
In baseball, it doesn't sound like a lot.
It's a quarter of the season.
It's a quarter of the season.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money that he really does need right now. Okay. So that's that, and we're gonna get to this last goon. And I think it'll take us to the halfway point. Tennessee Volunteers football fans. Yes.
It's too easy.
It is easy, but they are goons, and we must address them as so. Right, Andrew?
Yep, I saw that. I saw that live, and whew, boy, that made modding very interesting for a period of about an hour or so.
So,
since college football is my purview, and since I saw it live, let
me just set the stage. Right, so the Tennessee Volunteers are playing in Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, I have to ask one of my best friend from FSU. He's a cop in Knoxville, and he works the games. I have to ask him if he worked that game, because that'd be interesting insight that I could get for that if he was there. But, anyways, they're playing Ole Miss Rebels, right? And the head coach of Ole Miss just so happens to be a certain Lane Kiffin, who apparently is up for any job in both college football and the NFL for some reason. I'm not sure why, but okay. I think because his dad was somebody. I don't even know who his dad was. And yeah.
That was Monty Kiffin, former famous defensive coordinator for the Tampa 2 defense.
There you go. There we go. Anyways, so they're playing the Vols in Knoxville, and certain things happen, Andrew, and some of it involves mustard, one of my favorite condiments, but sure.
Well, you set the stage. I'm going to...
And I will put them on subs if I feel like it.
I'm going to further set the stage
There's
here.
nothing wrong with mustard on subs. Who has
with
a problem
mayonnaise
with that?
and ketchup?
I mean, listen, you dip it. Another day, another time. I gotta let Andrew breathe.
Sorry.
So... I know you've already set the stage, but I need to further set the stage. Because the whole saying about, it was a powder keg, I need to explain what was the gunpowder, and then what was the spark or the flame that set it off. So there is a trend in college football. It's no one's hiding it. It's no surprise. But since college football runs a lot of up-tempo offense where it's no huddle, defensive players get a bit tired because they don't have the chance to sub out if the offense doesn't sub out. So a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll tell their defensive players to fake a cramp, to just randomly
lobstering, right?
What?
Lobstering, right? Is that what they call it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because that was like what the Canes fans were blaming FIU for doing, right? During when
FIU,
yeah, lobstering, whatever. I think that was what they call it.
Anyways. So that is, I mean, everyone hates it except the people that use it, obviously. But it's a part of the game now, and unfortunately, it's a part of the game that can't really go away because it's not like you have an X-ray machine on the field to see whether the guy's faking it or not. So you just kind of have to err on the side of caution and pause the game to let them get off of the field. I mean, there are some proposed solutions, but this is neither the time nor place. So both teams are using this tactic. Lane Kiffin and Josh Heupel are both hurry up, no huddle coaches. And so both teams naturally were using this injury tactic. Tennessee fans were pissed when Ole Miss did it, but they were okay when Tennessee did it. Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. But anyway, you're having an injury every 3 or 4 plays, maybe a little bit more or less often, but still it's happening again and again and again, and it's breaking up the momentum of the offense. So the Tennessee fans are getting really pissed. You mentioned that Lane Kiffin used to coach at Tennessee, right?
Yeah, he did. He used to coach.
He did what, 2007 or 2009? He was there for a cup of coffee, said he wasn't going to leave, and then he bailed.
Right. So that obviously kind of plays into it as well. This is the first time that Kiffin has been a head coach playing at Tennessee, or this is his first time as a head coach at Tennessee since he was their head coach. He was an assistant at Alabama for a few years before he became the head coach at FAU, before he became the coach at Tennessee. So anyway, you've got the Kiffin element, then you have all of the fake injuries coming in. So you're starting to pour a bit more gunpowder into the fight. So it's a very close game going into the fourth quarter. It's less. I don't remember the exact score, but it's less than a touchdown game. Tennessee has the ball. They have a long 4th and 24 to convert in order to keep the ball, keep the drive going. They get 23 and a half yards on the play. But naturally, Tennessee fans thought that he got the first down. When the play went to review, they found it was correct. He did go 23 and a half yards. He was close, but no cigar. Tennessee fans didn't like that decision. And there's your spark. When the referee came over the PA and said that the call stands, immediately you start having, boos, but then you get water bottles, food, trash are being thrown.
Mustard.
And that's the crazy one, is someone threw a mustard bottle onto the field. I think it was Heinz. And then someone threw and hit Lane Kiffin, threw at Lane Kiffin and hit him in the right elbow a golf ball.
Yep.
I mean,
yellow golf
Lane
ball.
not deserve it, though? We look at him.
Not with a golf ball.
Oh, I'm talking about the mustard. I'm not advocating golf ball.
Well, if they sprayed spraying the mustard, I think that would have been whatever. But throwing the mustard, that's just wasting good mustard.
This is true.
Well,
they think he has sausage fingers.
A friend of mine, I asked a friend of mine while this was going on, I said, who brings a mustard bottle to a football game? And they explained, and this is quite clever, they said that it's potentially a way for someone to sneak booze into the stadium.
Ah, okay.
Because it's not in a metal flask.
It is Tennessee.
Because it's not in a metal flask, so it's not going to be picked up by
it is the state of
metal
Tennessee.
detectors.
Yeah, but if I could think of somebody sneaking in moonshine in any sort of way, it'd be that state. That's for sure.
And that was actually a great joke. Kiffin was interviewed, and he said that some of the water bottles had brown liquid in it. And he said, he responded, he said that he doesn't think it was moonshine because he doesn't think it would be wasted on him. They would waste good moonshine on him.
Yeah, that's a way to fire back. Yeah. So this happened. The SEC fined the university $250,000,
which I thought was very small, but it turns out that apparently that's the maximum amount they can be fined.
Yeah. But yeah, well, they got fined. They lost that game, and they lost everything else, right? And they're still a dead program, so nothing of any consequence happened at all. All right. So, we're at the halfway point, gentlemen. So that means it's time for a word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we have been enjoying over the last week. And, I'll start off. I'll start off this week. So, my non-sponsor is Shop Goodwill.
Yeah.
Shop Goodwill. So, a lot of people don't know this, but Goodwill has an online auction site. This is the actual Goodwill. What the hell is this? Here we go. Shop online. There it is. That's where it should be. Anyways, so shopgoodwill.com, where you can look for all types of stuff on there. So, a lot of people donate their stuff to Goodwill, and then Goodwill has a bunch of nice and stuff for people to buy, just it's cheap and stuff and all that stuff. And yeah, you can go and get some clothes, get some stuff, but get a lot of stuff. And apparently, I bought something from Shop Goodwill, and they have things that I love, like video games. So a lot of people do donate their video games to Goodwill. They don't know that they may potentially be sitting on a gold mine, depending on what you actually own. So, Shop Goodwill, that's what I did. It's through bidding. They do have some buy it now, kind of like eBay, but most of their stuff is through an auction. So you are bidding against other people. You put your highest bid and see if you win. So, what I got this time was a PlayStation 3. So I got a PlayStation 3 because I needed to complete the collection of consoles and stuff from 2007. I have a PS3 now. I have an Xbox 360. I've had, I still have a Nintendo DS way back at home. I used to have a PSP, and of course the Wii and the Wii U. But of course the Wii U didn't come out. But
the button of video games.
Yeah, I'm going back in time in some sort of way, but yeah, I haven't really I didn't really enjoy much from that generation that wasn't on the Wii or the DS. So I'm starting to experience it now, and right now those games are cheap. Those games are cheap, very cheap. If you're gonna get
like 20, man.
I've told people if you're gonna get in now. Right now, the expensive stuff is PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, and Game Boy Advance. That stuff is expensive right now. You can sell those things off before your games rot, because they eventually do rot. And get in on this. So that's what I'm doing, and I already got a nice collection of stuff. But yeah, the PS3, $39, guys. $39 for a PlayStation 3. Works perfectly fine. Didn't have many scratches at all. I mean, the top of it, no scratches at all. The bottom, no scratches at all. Some on the side. It was actually clean when I when I got it here. I cleaned it myself at the same time, but I got most of the nooks and crannies, but it was mostly clean by that point. And of course, it came with a Rickadink controller, a P3 controller. So that's how off market that was. I will look for an official PS3 first party controller. I got two games already. God of War Collection, Metal Gear Solid 4. But the PS3 works fine. The games run already on it, so nothing's wrong with the disc drive. Nothing was wrong with that. They do sell, like with the games and stuff, they'll say that they haven't tested them, so you may be buying stuff at your own risk. But given the fact that it's so cheap that you could, throw some money away and gamble and see if you got something good. And they do have lots.
How much was your PlayStation?
Huh?
How much you get for the PlayStation?
$39. $39, HDMI cord, power cable, controller, good to go. So, and it works fine. It's the second model, the PS3, not the first one. So yeah, I can play PS1 games on there if I want to as well. And but they do have lots of video games. So like they'll sell like a lot of like 10 or 20 games or even more. I've seen more. And those are where the bots, where you have to fight the bots with regards to bidding, because I've bid on some of those to try and see if I can land on them, because their value is way higher if all the games work, and most of them are like complete in box too. But yeah, sometimes you get those, but sometimes if you go on some of like the lower key stuff, things that aren't really getting much attention, you'll win something good. And of course they got the other stuff. They got clothes and even furniture, and you see guitars and stuff. They got all kinds of stuff there. So, and my PS3 came from a Goodwill in Tennessee. So speaking of Tennessee, there you go. I prevented somebody from throwing that onto the field. Apparently, that's what I did. Yeah. So. Promo code Crackhead PS3. Delonte West PS3. I'm sorry.
Yeah! You won't get canceled after the China comment, but we're going to cancel off a guy who called us wagon.
Oh, man. I feel bad now. I knew I was going to hell already, but I had a KFC Double Down a long time ago, but still. Who's going next?
I'll go just to kind of keep it with the gaming theme. I know Andrew was sending us home. So this was kind of tough. I had a couple of different things I was thinking about, but this is one of the few times where my non-sponsor is basically going to be based off of other mediums that would go to me to want to purchase something. I was originally going to suggest the current game I'm playing, but I don't like to kind of give single player games to non-sponsors until I finish them, because what if I'm wrong with the ending? But you guys know I love wrestling. I am live streaming right now as we speak. Well, not live streaming. I don't do it like that because I'm technologically inept, but I'm giving you my play-by-play as I'm watching this at first blush. But one of my things I like to do in my slow time when I'm getting ready for the day, if I need a comedy laugh, is watch the gaming channel Up, Down, Down that has Xavier Woods from New Day, also known as Austin Creed Wins. That's his handle and all that stuff, but Austin Creed. I've watched it for years. I love their Madden tournament. I loved everything. And then they have like little segments. And what they created when the quarantine first started was Up, Down, Down Uno, the party, as they say. And it had him, Cesaro, Tyler Breeze, and Adam Cole, Bebe, who is now left. Very sad thing. Tyler Breeze, he was let go of his contract. Very sad. But one of the things they would do is kind of play Uno with each other, going from there to do with the social distancing and just seeing their reactions. And everybody loves Uno. I love Uno in person, just like giving the cards, and then you have the house rules and stuff like that. But being able to observe your favorite wrestlers play it, seeing their laughs, is kind of a connection. And then I told myself, man, maybe I'll buy this when I get a chance. And what do I see on the PSN network last week was Ubisoft's Uno for PlayStation 4. Play on your PlayStation 5, you have one just like me, or you can get it anywhere on any of the consoles for 4 whole smack rolls, with the Ultimate Edition being $8. Ultimate Edition including Uno, the theme cards. They have rabbits, they have Phoenix, they have, or not Phoenix, but Immortals, all this other stuff. And they also have Ultimate Edition, which includes Uno Flip. So Flip is like the new modern take on it. And because I have watched Up, Down, Down, I guess it's like a 2-part. I'll give a shout out to Up, Down, Down. But then we know where it's going with. I'm like, fine, I want to see Uno Flip where there's like an inverse where you can reverse the color scheme where you're not stuck with certain things where you have a skip ball, a draw 5. And I was like, I'm going to buy it because my boys who I play Madden with, I'm like, guys, would you get this if we get this? So we can kind of like screw each other over and hang out and kind of connect because that's what you do when you're 32 and everybody lives far the hell away. That's how you stay together. You can also play Back for Blood.
Who doesn't love a good game of Uno?
A good game of Uno. But virtual, I was kind of like intimidated because it's not the same. I can't do the smack talk. But I bit the bullet. I bought it. $8. It's nothing to me. I went with the Ultimate Edition. I was like, all right, this is just, some Taco Bell. I'll skip it. I'm trying to be healthy anyway. It's wedding season, holiday season. I'm going to gain weight anyhow. So I've been playing it sometimes at night. It's a perfect 30-minute to hour game that you can do before you go to bed. And I've been playing against some random people, both the regular classic Uno and then Flip. And they have some weird house rules. Like, if you play a 7, you can switch cards with people. If you play a 0, it has to move the deck along. You can call bluffs. You can see all this stuff. And it could be chaotic. If you went with just the normal rules, you're like, whatever, it's fine. You know what you're getting yourself into. But if you're putting down a 7 steals other people's cards, I can have 18 cards to stack. I play a 7, I'm stealing the guy who has 3 cards left. If I'm doing Uno Flip, someone's about to get Uno, I just flipped it, and you don't have that new color, and you have to go from there. If I did a skip everybody, if I did a, draw until you get the color coordination, who knows how many you're going to get. And it's a lot of fun. And what I've been doing with it, boys, is just playing against random people. One day, me and my boys are going to come in there. We create our own party, but I think we'll just be the Gorilla Bear unit. That's an old school call out to us 15 years ago. But I've been listening to my audiobooks with it. And when I go audiobooks on a game, it's got to be something that I can kind of multitask in a sense. But I know I'm listening to both. I usually do if I'm playing Splatoon, which it's been a minute to do that, 2 months.
Splatoon 3 next year.
I'm so excited. But this has been a lot of fun because when you think about the games, the generations of what you play as a child growing up to an adult, and if you have children, God forbid that's me, what I'll give it down to, it's really going to be 3 games for me. Monopoly, Scrabble, and Uno. And I wouldn't play Monopoly online. No. It's not the same. I got to roll that dice. I got to feel that dice in my hands, man. And with Scrabble, I play Words with Friends on the toilet. That's my morning mood every day. But I was like, Uno, I was like, no way. And I've popped in 3 hours so far. Listen to my audiobook, tell me what, listen to some music, coming into it. And it is the perfect bedtime where you just don't want to come home from a hard day at work and then, work out because you're trying to stay healthy because you're 32 and you just know the way that you eat with them checker burgers that you just had before you jump to the show is going to get to you. Hold on, I got to pause this because now it's getting too good. I'm on a rant. But it's cool. You can play online with people. I don't need the physical cards. It's still kind of weird how you can't kind of call Uno or no Uno on people. It has to be selected to one person unless I'm playing it wrong. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's on sale on the PSN. You can get it on the computer. You can get it on the Switch, I think. You get it on the Xbox. Uno by Ubisoft. I would suggest get the Uno Flip. It makes it more chaotic as well, and you can pick your choices to it. A lot of fun. Worth the price right now. $4 in the PSN Network. Ultimate Edition for $8. You might as well get the Ultimate Edition because the Flip version by itself is $5 additional. Why pay more when you just pay less? I've always loved Uno. I'm also a trash talker, so I can't wait to play my boys when we do our little get-togethers, for a couple hours and just, screwing somebody over by hitting a 7 and stealing their cards when I know I'm slacking. So Uno Flip, Uno video game for whatever consoles you need. You could just do it with your buddies, just like Back for Blood, which is sponsor us here. Promo code, generational, because it's no balling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Uno was awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't played in forever. Sheesh. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's crossplay.
Yeah.
Smacking on you guys.
I gotta. Well, let's see. I gotta. If you have PC, PS3, who knows on pretty much everything. Maybe on phone. Who knows? I'll check that out. Maybe that could be a thing. All right. Okay. Is Andrew? Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
You ready for yours?
Yep.
Right.
My non-sponsor for today is, well, I guess technically UCF, but more specifically the design department at UCF. And I'll explain. So since 2017, UCF has had a special space game each year where they wear space-themed
Oh, this
uniforms.
season's looks good.
This season's are really good. I'm withholding judgment on them just yet because in lining them up with which is the best of the five, but because I want to see how it looks on the field. But man, they are damn pretty. It's themed for the 40th anniversary of the space shuttle. Each of the numbers has little squares on it that are supposed to look like the heating panels on the underside of the space shuttle.
The very precious heating panels.
Very precious heating panels. And I can't think of the actual name for it. I say heating panels, but really what they are is heat shields. There we go, heat shields. They're meant to protect the crew during re-entry because it gets really hot when you're coming back into the atmosphere. So each of those numbers has a few squares on it that look like those heat shields, and man, Atlanta's blowing it.
That's a general statement, but yes. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so and they each.
Speaking of blowing it, Charles, that heat score. Sorry, Andrew.
Oh, so good. Jimmy Butler could get something blown if he plays that way.
Florida Panthers are getting a lot of love from me tonight too.
72 points at halftime. Jeez.
Oh, so good.
So each of the uniform numbers has squares that denotes each one of the space shuttle missions.
Mm-hmm.
They're really playing into the Citronaut theme, which is really cool. On the back helmet bumper, they have hold on, that's a base hit, so it's now 4-2 Los Angeles. Oh, God. I swear, if Atlanta blows this again...
I love it.
Oh, I am going to be all over it. Oh.
Because I've been saying Dodgers are my World Series pick, so I need
all
to be right.
The 28-3s, all the strike shortened season Mickey Mouse Championship, all the failed NHL franchise, the Atlanta Hawks in general, that's all going to come out again.
Sorry, where was I? Yes. They have, on the back helmet bumper, they reference the Challenger and Columbia shuttles that disintegrated and
Tragically,
exploded.
Yes.
I recommend, there's so much symbolism in that uniform that you really have to take a look at the website and look at all of them, because I could take several minutes describing all of it and I wouldn't do it justice. So promo code Citronaut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's some good stuff. And anybody who's been to the Kennedy Space Center, for sure will see a lot of the references. They do have, was it the Atlantis that's hanging there, on display over there? But yeah. Yep. Yeah, these were good. When I saw these, I'm like, oh, these are nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. So that's it for that. We're gonna move on here. I do wanna talk a little bit of hockey, just a bit. There's not too much aside from my Florida Panthers being the best team in the league right now. That feels good. Yes, that's right. There's still 5 minutes and 46 seconds left. They could still blow it against the Avalanche, who are a good team. But the Panthers, gauntlet to start the season. Penguins, Islanders, Lightning, and Avalanche. And they might go 4-0. Oh man, I'm excited. A team's never been this great to start out a season, and especially against the quality of opponents that they faced. Yes. But first week of the NHL, and especially the first month, weird things happen. The Buffalo Sabres are also undefeated. Nobody saw that coming. So, and the opponents that they faced were like, I think, the Vancouver Canucks and maybe the Detroit Red Wings. I'm not sure. They're just teams that are expected to just not be good this season. So that's gone down. Penguins are leading their division right now. Them ahead of the Flyers and the Caps. Okay, fine. Those are teams we kind of see going there. Flyers trying to bounce back from a disappointing season last season. Leafs doing all right. The Rangers trying to continue with this rebuild, see if they can get back into contention, and what's that and what's new. And the Montreal Canadiens, who are defending finalist for the Stanley Cup, I guess that's what we're going to say for right now, have not won a game, and they are battered up and beaten and old, and likely last season was a Cinderella run that they wouldn't, given the circumstances of how the playoffs.
It's okay to say the F word. Frauds.
I wouldn't say they're frauds. I think they just went on a Cinderella run, and they just a last hurrah for guys like Shea Weber and Carey Price who are trying to win a championship. That was pretty much it for them. So no, because the fraud moniker is for teams that truly have championship aspirations and are contenders and just fall apart, a la the Philadelphia 76ers or the San Diego Padres, Whereas the Habs was just like a surprise run. That was more of a thing, right? Okay, Western Conference, St. Louis Blues leading their division, tied with the Wild. Same thing, they're undefeated right now. The Oilers, they are also undefeated right now. The Pacific Division is pretty weak. It'll probably be between Vegas Golden Knights and probably Edmonton to win that division. So we'll see with that. The Seattle Kraken are a team now. They had a pretty good opening game against the Golden Knights. They lost by 1. That's pretty commendable, but they've won a game. They beat the Nashville Predators for their first ever win. They're 1-3-1. They got 3 points. They're not expected to be as good as the Golden Knights were in their first season, but supposedly they're supposed to compete. And in the Pacific Division, there's a possibility they could snag that third place spot, depending on how things go. But there's Pacific Division is the weakest division, at least what everybody expects it to be, and me too, because there's a lot of rebuilding teams on there. You have the Sharks. I mean, basically all of California is under construction in the NHL. You have those teams. The Coyotes have moved over to the Central Division, and they've started off cold, along with the Chicago Blackhawks. But the Coyotes, we'll see what goes on with them.
Question for hockey, because this might be a learn to goof moment. I know last year they had kind of realigned divisions because of the protocols, but are people back in the OG stuff?
Yeah, they're back to the divisions from the season prior. So the Panthers are back with the Panthers and Lightning are basically back with the Northeast in Canada right now. So that's everything's gone back to normal, and just added Seattle to the Pacific and moved Arizona from the Pacific to the Central, which I think is more of a preemptive thing to have the Coyotes just in case they move to like Houston or something. It'd be easy to keep them in the Central. So, and also the daylight savings time thing, which is kind of weird with Arizona because they don't observe it. So there you go. All right, so that's the NHL. That's as much as I want to talk about. There's not really much aside from that with regards to stories and things. I mean, stuff has happened, but once again, first week, weird stuff happens. I don't expect the Sabres to be this good unless Terry Pegula made a deal with the devil, and if he did, that means the Bills are going to be epically screwed. And maybe that happened this week in the NFL. Maybe he already did that. Hey, I hope the Sabres do well. Or I'm going to have to take something from you, Mr. Pegula. Your precious Bills. But we'll get to that. All right, we'll get to that. Okay, so we are at an hour and 25 minutes. I want to know where you guys want to go.
I need to step in here because I have a lot of news to cover in college football.
Okay. Can you make it as concise as possible? That way we can get to the NFL. All right. And yeah, here we go. All right.
All right. So obviously we covered the big news of the Tennessee Ole Miss incident, but we have more conference realignment, gentlemen.
The AAC one? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
So as a quick rundown, the SEC took Oklahoma and Texas starting in probably 2025. As a response to that, took from the Big 12. As a response to that, the Big 12 took Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF from the American Athletic Conference, and BYU as an independent to make up those missing spaces and add 2 more teams. So the American Athletic Conference has now lost its 3 best teams. So they need to do something because they are now down to 8 teams. They need a minimum of 10. So they decide to not just fill those three gaps, but to expand even further. So as it was not that secret over the past couple of days that this was going to happen, but it was official today. American Athletic Conference is adding 6 teams from Conference USA. They're adding Charlotte, FAU, Rice, UAB, UNT, that's North Texas, and UTSA, that's the University of Texas at San Antonio. So that leaves the 14-team Conference US, and that they will be starting probably in 2023 in the new conference. That will leave Conference USA with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. So they're in a bad way right now because most of the teams they're losing are really good. FAU is really good. UAB is really good. UTSA is on the rise. They're undefeated so far this season. They're young teams, so who knows where they'll be in a few years. Charlotte is also kind of on the rise team, and as a matter of fact, FAU and Charlotte.
We saw Charlotte
are playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. Charlotte beat the living daylights out of FIU.
Yes, indeed.
So, Conference USA, they're down to 8 teams. They need a minimum of 2 others to be able to have a conference championship game. If they can't, they're SOL. So, they are trying to find teams, but it also comes out that the Sun Belt Conference, which is kind of Conference US, the remaining conferences, you have the Power 5, you have the American, you have the Mountain West Conference, you have the MAC, then you have Conference USA and the Sun Belt. Both of them are located more in the southeastern quadrant of the country, which I'm including basically anything from Texas up to Virginia. I know that's not technically the southeast, but southeast quadrant of the country. So it turns out it looks like the Sun Belt is looking to add 2 other teams from Conference USA, Marshall and Southern Miss. So that would take the 8-team Conference USA down to 6. But it also comes out that there's a possibility they may go even further. And this is speculation. The only ones that are really kind of hard in stone in terms of rumors are Marshall and Southern Miss. So we'll stick with that. So that means now Conference USA has 6 teams. They need to add 4 more. Conference USA is in a lot of trouble. So let's say it's just those 2. Let's say it's just Marshall and Southern Miss. That means FIU, Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee, Old Dominion, UTEP, and Western Kentucky. They're in bad shape right now. There is a good chance
it fizzles.
I don't want to say that the conference will fold.
Get suspended.
They're going to have to do something, and quick, because, like I said, 10 teams is the bare minimum. If you just have 8, you can find 2 teams from anywhere to pick out and try and fill out those slots. I mean, you have right now 6 independent schools.
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, I'm going to say 5 because Notre Dame, there's no
semi-ACC.
There's a better chance that I will win the lottery 3 times in a row than Notre Dame would join Conference USA.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm going to leave them out of it. So the 5 actually kind of independent conference teams are Army, Liberty, New Mexico State, UConn, and UMass.
I could see UConn.
Is the only one that is anywhere relatively close to the conference footprint of Conference USA because they're located in Virginia. Army is in West Point, New York. New Mexico State is obviously in New Mexico and Las Cruces. UConn is in Hartford, Connecticut, and then UMass is in Amherst, Massachusetts. Those are anywhere close to Miami, Ruston, Louisiana, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, El Paso, and
good old
Bowling
El Paso,
Green, Kentucky. So, well, actually, New Mexico State is kind of close to.
El Paso is about, I would say, like a 4 or 5 hour drive from Albuquerque. I don't know where New Mexico State is, but that's where Albuquerque is.
So there you go. So you have 8 teams there. You need to find 2 more. There's a possibility you might add James Madison University, possibly Jacksonville State, which is based out of Alabama. So that would get you back to 10. But the problem is the Sun Belt is also interested in adding James Madison, has some interest in adding possibly James Madison, possibly Jacksonville State. And then the one thing I was hesitant to mention is there's also a possibility they might have to go after Old Dominion, which is another Conference USA team. So in theory, there's a possibility that 3 of the remaining 8 Conference USA teams will go to the Sun Belt Conference. That would leave 5. And then if they decide to pick off James Madison, that takes away one really big kind of hidden gem in FCS. I think they won the national championship last year or fairly recently. They're one of the top FCS teams. So whoever gets them is in good shape because at this point there have to be some FCS teams brought up because Conference USA, there are not enough teams that would join them that are currently in FBS to make them out to 10. So Conference USA, like I said, is in bad shape. That does not bode well for FIU. Good news for them is FAU says that they're still willing to play them in football. But man, for 2 teams that started at more or less the same time. I think FIU started 1 year prior to FAU. They started in 01. FAU started in 02. For 2 teams that have been so linked together for their entire histories, they've played in the same conference all the way through. They started in the Sun Belt. Now they're in Conference USA. FAU is now going leagues ahead of FIU.
Moving on up. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Pete Garcia. Pete Garcia is the athletic director for FIU, has been for several years now. He has done jack shit to help FIU become even a decent program. His most notable decision was firing Mario Cristobal after one bad season.
And now all the Canes fans want to bring him here.
There's not a chance in hell that he would go to Miami. He's got a good gig right now and up in Oregon. mean,
Miami would have to pony up all of that money they get from their medical school.
Yeah, they would have to pay. They would have to pay a king's ransom to bring him.
All that tuition from the law school, baby.
Right.
We're gonna keep Manny Diaz for like another 5 years. We're Al Golding in it. Right.
Hey, at least Al Golden wore a suit to games.
No. We don't do that. We don't acknowledge Al Golden anything. If I had to give you a equivalent of Al Golden in a different sport analogy,
y'all are missing Mark Richt, aren't you?
I agree. You want to know what Al Golden was in baseball terminology? He was
Grady. No, not even Grady Little, because he actually did something.
You gotta get somebody who was like, oh, he's there, and we're just gonna keep him for a long ass time and not do anything. He was
Clint Hurdle.
He was Clint Hurdle. Yeah, that's a perfect thing. One okay-ish year, and then it kind of goes from there. He doesn't get the Ned Yost effect. I was gonna go with Buck Showalter.
No, Ned Yost actually won a ring. Well, Clint Hurdle got the Rockies to a World Series, but
I'm gonna say Buck Showalter. There we go. Buck Showalter.
Yeah, Buck Showalter.
Bobby Valentine, actually.
Yeah, Bobby Valentine. Well, he actually got his team to a World Series too, so I think Showalter.
There's a difference between getting to the World Series and then how that World Series ends.
I feel like it has to be. Okay, whatever. This is taking long. Okay, sorry, Andrew.
So, anyway, that kind of ends that for right now. We'll see what else shakes out. But for right now, the only confirmation is those 6 teams are moving. Continuing the domino effect that started with Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC in a few seasons. So we'll see how that shakes out. I thought there was other big news. Ed Orgeron is gone from LSU at the end of this season.
He's coming to the Canes.
Go Tigers. So Ed Orgeron brought.
Andrew has lagged out.
Eddie
LSU. What?
Yeah.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, he's lagged out. He's lagged out. This is like a Nintendo Switch Super Smash Brothers matchup. Sorry, Andrew, you lagged out. Yeah, we can hear you. You just lagged out for like 10 seconds now. So
okay.
we heard nothing past Ed Orgeron got fired from LSU.
He's actually still technically the head coach through the end of the season.
Yeah, but he's gone. He's
gone. He's gone at the end of the season. Ed Orgeron, like I said, head coach LSU. He won the national championship back in 2019 with Joe Burrow. A lot of people think that it wasn't so much Ed Orgeron. It was Ed Orgeron was in the right place at the right time because, I mean, everything's gone downhill from here. It was kind of a one fluke season where LSU, the stars aligned. That's what a lot of people are thinking. So, Ed Orgeron, that's also coupled with some of his off-field behavior recently. He's been seen hitting on women, even though he's not married anymore. He recently got divorced. But he was happily married until they got divorced shortly after the national championship. Some people are speculating that maybe he was become too full of himself and his wife wasn't having it. We'll never know, obviously. That's just all speculation from sports writers' articles.
I thought it was more about the sexual harassment claims by players.
But so he's gone. So after he was divorced, he was seen hitting on women, including one of them was the wife of one of the board of trustees for LSU, or someone high up in the administration. So that's not a good look. It's just all gone downhill from there. And then,
sorry, Andrew.
And then also add in the fact that Supposedly he knew about sexual assault cases that were happening with the team that happened, and it's just a mess. It would take a while to go on and discuss all of it, but so he's gone. He's getting a big payout. Speaking of coaches being fired, and I actually am going to be discussing this in a sports bar episode. I'll probably shoot it tomorrow. I just lost the last couple of days. But Nick Rolovich, who's the head football coach for Washington State, he and 4 assistants are gone. They're fired for cause because they did not get the virus vaccine.
Oh, perfect subject matter for a sports bar, for the second ever, by the way.
Yes. And then add to it the fact that he's filing a lawsuit now. So there's a ton of juicy information that can be discussed here. So anyway, Nick Rolovich, he apparently applied for a so I'll just do a quick background. Back in August, the governor issued a proclamation, which is essentially the equivalent of an executive order, saying that any state employees, and that includes people employed by private and public universities, had to be fully vaccinated by this past Monday, the 18th. Fully vaccinated. And that means, according to the proclamation, 2 weeks removed from either the second dose of one of the 2-dose regimens or 2 weeks removed from the one and only dose from the single-dose regimen. One of those. So I calculated out, or I'll skip that. I'll go into more depth in the sports bar episode. But he applied for, there are some religious exemptions that were allowed. Rolovich applied for it, was denied. He did not obviously get vaccinated in time, so he's gone. He says that they were vindictive in firing him and they had a grudge against him. I don't know how that's going to play out. But that's the other big news, that Rolovich is gone for that reason, which, come on, man. His salary is $3 million a year. And he had another, I think, 3 or 4 years left on his contract. So dude's given up a hefty chunk of change because he wouldn't get a vaccine. And he wasn't even the coach that long for a lot of money. He was a coach for a few years at Hawaii, where he was only making $500,000 a year, and then just the 2 seasons at Washington State at $3 million a year. So, in the grand scheme of head coaches, he really did not get a lot of money. So hopefully he has a good CPA, good investment banker, because I don't think he's going to be coaching anytime soon.
Well.
And then last but not least, I'll do a quick rundown of our beloved college football teams, and then we will move on. UCF, we are 3-3, 1-2 in conference. Our last game was a to-be-expected blowout at the hands of number 3 Cincinnati.
My Cincinnati Bearcats.
In hindsight, I really should not have told you to root for Cincinnati. Anyone but a conference rival.
Yeah, man.
Pick Purdue. Purdue upset number 2 Iowa this past week.
Trash.
And their mascot, or they have a train. They have a train.
Yeah, but man, I mean, look, I've been a Bearcats fan for forever, man. Okay, I've been a Bearcats fan since the founding of the University of Cincinnati back in 1819. That's how long I've been a Bearcats fan, my good man. Okay, Juncta Juvent Alta Petite, right? That's our school motto.
I have a question for you then, Mr. Bearcats fan. Only a true Bearcats fan, or someone who's somewhat of a knowledgeable person of college football know the answer to this. Why are they called the Bearcats?
That is a very good question, and I as a Bearcats fan who knows the fight song, which is named Cheer Cincinnati, and our colors are red and black, know why. It is because back in 1914, they were facing off against the University of Kentucky Wildcats, and one of the key players in the birth of the Bearcat was a star named UC player named Bear, a creative cheerleader and a talented cartoonist. During the second half of that hard-fought football game, Norman Pat Lyon, building on the efforts of fullback Leonard K. Teddy Bear, created the chant, "They may be Wildcats, but we have a Bearcat on our side." So there you go, right?
Well,
and
obviously we have a major UC fan in the house.
That bit of University of Cincinnati trivia that was totally off the top of my head was brought to you by Back for Blood, which has the same color scheme as the Cincinnati Bearcats. So there you go.
What I would say to that is you've at least proven to be a better bandwagoning fan than a certain man who supported the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll go from there.
Oh boy. Well, Andrew's not even that big of an NFL fan. So.
But but that's the thing. Like, you immerse yourself into it. I get Andrew's point of view. You're really just being sycophantic at that point. At least be like him or I were like, we just don't like our teams. Let's root for this team. Because there's always a secondary team. But this man,
guys, I've been so beaten down by the horrendous football.
Who even lives in Cincinnati? White people and crackheads? Like, come on, man.
Nick Castellanos, man, you don't want to anger that man. He's actually gonna opt out, so your precious Yankees might want him. Don't anger the man. He brings about doom and chaos.
Castellanos, so when we find out that Aaron Boone has also sent out hateful emails, he's gonna get a 4-0 bomb for us.
You gotta replace Joey Gallo because he sucks.
Don't even. I still
okay. Sorry. All right, Andrew. Yeah.
Bobby Lashley time,
Bearcats are the best team, so we all know this. Go University of Cincinnati. Just where their university is. Hold on, let me look on Google Maps. They are located at. No, go ahead. Sorry. FSU didn't play, so there we go. So we can get that out of the way.
I respect your dedication to that bit. Props to that.
Where is the University of? I'm going to look just on my own. You keep going.
Okay, so UCF, we're playing tomorrow. It's the space game. We are playing Memphis, starting at 7 p.m. to be broadcast on ESPN2. Moving on to the next school, which is... waiting for my computer to load, Florida State. As Francisco mentioned, I believe they had their bye week this week. Yes, they did. So, homecoming is coming up this Saturday. They are playing UMass. You guys picked the perfect team to play for homecoming because there is no way you can lose.
We lost to an FCS school already, so I do not believe
starting that trash quarterback Mackenzie Milton, so they should have a chance to win.
Oh no, Charles.
Francisco, in fairness,
I mean, it's not as bad as what I said about Delonte West, though.
Francisco, in fairness, Jacksonville State is actually a better team than UMass.
Wow.
And I'm being dead serious there.
Okay. Well, all right. So
I'm being honest.
But why speak to me about this Florida State when I am clearly a Bearcats fan? They their address is 2600 Clifton Avenue. So, good old Clifton building.
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is actually off the cuff. UCF's address is 4000 Central Florida Boulevard, Orlando, Florida 32825. Even though they say they're located in Orlando, they are actually technically in unincorporated Orange County. We are right next to the county border with Seminole County. So much so that there's a running gag that whenever a player hits a home run, the baseball stadium's on the north side of campus, right next to the county border. There's a joke that if a baseball player hits a home run so far, he hit it into the next county, which is actually not physically possible under normal human anatomy, but it's still a funny joke nonetheless. So, moving on to the other team in the Miami-Dade area, Miami Hurricanes.
Yep, Jeff Van Dyke has to be our quarterback.
Your last game was a loss to North Carolina.
Made the man cry.
Stadium in Chapel Hill. Your next game is against the number 18 NC State Wolfpack. That is here in Miami.
Man's going to cry some more.
Miami Gardens, actually. Oh, by the way, the Florida State game is on ACC Network starting at 12 p.m.
Listen, there's only one Wolfpack team that I acknowledge, and that's the NWO Wolfpack. Because if you ain't NWO, you ain't nothing.
Although, fun fact, there are two wolf packs in FBS football. One of them is Wolf Space Pack, 2 words. That's the University of Nevada, Reno. And then you have one word, Wolf Pack, which is NC State. So, number 18, NC State, starting at 7:30 on ESPN2 on Saturday. That is taking place at the stadium formerly known as Joe Robbie Pro Player Dolphins Stadium, Landshark Stadium, Dolphin Stadium, New Miami Stadium. Did I say Sun Life?
Yes. All right. Let's go. We're at 1 hour 51.
Sorry, I have fun with that. Last but not least, FIU. We know this one. They had a bye week. The last game was a loss to Charlotte. They are now playing on Saturday, which is homecoming. They're playing the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. That should be an interesting matchup that FIU will probably lose. And that kind of covers a lot of college football for this past week or so.
All right.
Guys, I got to interject. So this match starts. Before the bell rings, Bobby Lashley goes into his pants and he brings out a steel chain, just straight up hit Goldberg. That is some Thug 101 stuff that I'm all about, because Bobby Lashley is the CEO of the Hurt Business, and right now, business is good.
Okay. I'm going to do a score rundown before we move on to the NFL. We'll talk about that.
Goldberg's already played.
Oh, boy. So, right now, NLCS, Atlanta losing 4-2 to the Dodgers. We're in the 6th inning. We'll see what happens there. Yeah. There's some college football happening tonight as well. That we're also competing against that. We're competing against everything tonight. But NHL, my beloved Florida Panthers, did seal the deal against the Avs 4-1. The Preds and the Rangers are 1-1 heading into the 3rd. The Jets are up 3-1 against Anaheim, 3-1. Yep. The Canucks are beating the Blackhawks over in Chicago, 2-1. The Canes already beat the Habs 4-1. Sharks beat the Senators 2-1. The Caps beat the Devils 4-1. The Blue Jackets beat the Islanders in overtime 3-2, and the Flames shut out the Red Wings in Detroit 3-0. So there is that with regards to the hockey. In the NBA, our beloved Miami Heat are spanking the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, 101-70. 101-70. They are searing that venison. By the way, I made venison chili the other day, guys. Oh, yummy. I was preparing for this matchup, by the way. So yeah, eat your venison tonight, Miami-Dade. Eat your venison tonight. All right.
We loved you last season. We don't give a crap right now. We have short-term memory.
The Hawks spanking the Mavs, 113-87, and the Warriors and LA Clippers are about to get started over in San Francisco. All right, and the lone NFL score that's happening tonight, we have the Cleveland Browns up 10-7 to the Broncos. They got a touchdown. So
Miller got hurt in the game.
Yeah.
I was watching his knee collide with another guy and got inward, and it looked very painful.
Yeah, so 10-7 right now. We'll see what happens with that. And yeah. That's the full rundown, guys. That's the full rundown. So NFL. All right, guys.
Woo!
Look, I think we can all give a Henry Handy based on the T-shirt that he wore today. His press conference.
May I take that, Rain?
Yeah. Oh no, Charles. No, we got to build this up. We're not there yet. Because no, this is.
I mean, you can't start off with someone doing a good Samaritan job like that.
I just had to. That's a real MVP moment, by the way. That's a real MVP moment. But we're not there yet because we have to build up to it, Charles. We have to build up to it, right? Right. Okay. So Thursday night football, Bucks beat the Eagles. They got just enough. I saw some of that game. Tom Brady having his way. Jalen Hurts doing the best that he can with that Eagles squad. So there you go. We had already talked about the aforementioned Washington football team getting spanked by the Chiefs. That was 31-13. The Rams beating the Giants. The New York Giants are a bad team. They spanked them thoroughly, 38-11. Oh, there you go. The Colts, putting a hurting on the Houston Texans, 31-3. The fucking Dolphins, man. Okay, I accidentally skipped forward with regards to that, but the Miami Dolphins.
I watched that game.
Why would you subject yourself to?
Because I needed a good laugh.
Oh, it's tough man,
being me, and I need to see a team that picked Tua Tagovailoa over Justin Herbert. I need to see the team who decided to pay Will Fuller a 1-year, $10 million contract to go from there. I need to see a team who just overpaid Xavier Howard again at a renegotiation, and then paid big money Byron. Oh, he just missed that. Just like the Miami Dolphins did free agency, and then how they just utilized Jalen Waddle just to catch the shortest of routes.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get through this as quickly as possible because I always go through the text that me and Doug sent. Of course, this game happened in London, so we exported terrible football over to the British. But again, by the way, for the second
Austin
week
Tea Party Part 2, baby. You ain't going to get the goods of real classic football games. Yeah.
So Dolphins face the Jaguars in the semi-home game, and the Jaguars play over there.
Oof.
Doug did get up and watch that game. I could not care less, but he said that he couldn't leave the pain behind. And, of course, Charles had sent something. Look, the Dolphins, you know what? This is beautiful for me, by the way. I feel like I enjoy the Dolphins sucking more than succeeding. It's become that. Almost, in a sort of morbid type of way. But, yeah. Yeah, but I seem to enjoy it more because, guys, the Dolphins are tanking in the worst way.
In a bad way.
In the worst way, because they don't even have their first round pick this year. That belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I forgot about that.
So, the Dolphins have an inadvertent tank, a tank that they did not suspect would be constructed. They expected to compete for at least a wild card spot this season. And a lot of people expected that from the Dolphins. And yet, here they are, one of the worst teams in the NFL, losing to a team that had lost previously 20 games in a row, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer, Mr. Grab Your...
Urban.
There you go. Losing to that man. Trevor Lawrence losing to that man, right? So the Dolphins have a tank that they cannot control. They have a tank that they cannot control. The tank came in, took over, and is running wild, and they don't know how to stop it. And they do not want this tank to happen because they get no benefit from this tank. It is beautiful in the most horrific way, and I'm all for it now. I want this to get worse.
You just want the GM to get fired. That's what you're hoping. Right?
Oh, of course.
It's going to be Brian Flores.
But there is no hope beyond that as well, because there's money tied to some contracts. There are guys that were drafted that are going to be stuck here, and nobody else wants them. So there you go. All right.
Rushers? I mean, you spent money. I don't think it was in Greg. You got Jalen Phillips from the U, and I don't think he's doing that.
It's the secondary that's probably the most valuable part of the Dolphins right now. So there you go. All right, so let me keep running down the list. We got the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Detroit Lions in the battle of the Big Cats. So there we go. Another beloved Cincinnati cat-based team winning. There we go. My beloved Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers owning once more the Chicago Bears. 24-14 over in Chicago. The Baltimore Ravens spanking Herbert and the Chargers 34-6. There you go. The Minnesota Vikings pretending like they actually have a shot this season, beating the Panthers 34-28.
What are you doing there, Goldberg?
The Arizona Cardinals trying to shut Charles up, winning 37-14 to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, the Cleveland Browns, that everybody in that defense is hurt, where Baker Mayfield has a fractured shoulder on top of a ligament tear, where they don't have OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. They don't have that overrated guy that they paid for, Jadeveon Clowney. I don't want to hear this. I'm not acknowledging Kyler Murray.
I'm just putting it out there,
He ain't MVP. You know who loves Kyler Murray? You fantasy football people, and you brainwash NFL pundits. You ESPN wannabes. You don't have the balls to acknowledge a true MVP, but we're gonna get to him. Continue, Francisco.
The Las Vegas Raiders beating the Denver Broncos 34-24.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah, the Raiders picking up and moving on from John Gruden. So there we go. The Dallas Cowboys.
6-2.
Yeah, I just saw that right now. So the Dallas Cowboys beating the Patriots 35-29.
Is that a legitimate team? I think so.
Yeah, they look like it. Dak Prescott looks like it for sure. Yeah, for sure. They're
running with Pollard.
An ugly game between the Steelers and the Seahawks. Steelers won 23-20.
My hate train.
Teams on the bye, the Jets, the Falcons, 49ers, and the Saints. But now we come. And boy, did Charles come for sure. We go to the Titans and the Bills. A game. Oh, this is one of those what urinating tree Andrew would call the greatest game, This might be one of those that he could put together. Yeah. Not in the bad sort of sense, but in the good sort of sense, because this was a good game. And, well, Charles, go. You've been waiting.
I watched all of it. I loved it. I talked to my paralegal about it the day of. I talked to you guys about the Bills, and what did I say? You look at these high scores. These high scores that they have, but who they blow out? A Texans team that had to start Davis Mills. Y'all know what his story is. You know what the story is of him. What else did they have to play? Washington? We've been ranking on them this whole entire episode. So what are they going to do? Oh, they beat Kansas. I watched that game. A lot of balls fell out of receivers' hands in the hands of opponents. Really wasn't Patrick Mahomes' thing, and that secondary is also bad. And we have a bad secondary. But here's the difference between Mike Vrabel and the other teams' coaches that had to play the Buffalo Bills. We strategize, man. We keep to it if it works. We know we got crappy players. I did not know we had like 13 players on IR. But life goes on. And we go to one person. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, who beats all the bad guys? It ain't Vegeta. It ain't Krillin. Gohan comes in. We understand that, but we love us some Gohan. It ain't Tien Shinhan, but we love Tien Shinhan. It ain't Yamcha. It's Goku. How does Goku usually do it? He says, Kamehameha. Or he goes, puts his hands in the air like he don't care, gets a spirit bomb. You know who's channeling that spirit bomb? The energy of the crowd, because they were in Tennessee, and of his linemen, and of his team, Derrick Henry. Josh Allen, he got 3 touchdowns. Don't care. Emmanuel Sanders, get you up. Don't care. I'm Stephon Diggs. I'm going to go against these corners that suck. We don't care. We don't care about none of that. Because we were down. We came back, and we went down again. And we came back, and we didn't play situational football. We didn't play a perfect game. You know what we played? A winning game. You know who did not play a winning game? Sean McDermott. You know who did not win a winning game? Who did not play a winning game? Josh Allen, the man who I told y'all when this whole season started, I'm like, I don't see it. Y'all just telling me that this team's supposed to be good, but everybody on that AFC East is bad. But you know who was good? You know who was great?
You know who was just delicious? Like Halloween Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the bigger size ones. Derrick Henry. You know what Derrick Henry did in this game? And the reason why I'm being over emphatic on doing my best Stephen A. Smith interpretation of it all? The man literally put the team on his back and won it. 20 carries, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. Boys, we are 6 games in. He has 783 yards and 10 touchdowns, 162 touches, the most. You know what that is? That's an MVP. You know what that is? That's a winner. That's a man who doesn't care. King Derrick, my God, he's going to be my emperor soon. But yeah, Buffalo want to go for a 4th and 1 because they believe in their quarterback. They believe in that team. But you could have just tied the game with a field goal knowing how bad our defense was. But you don't want to because you don't have that winner's mentality. You know who has that winner's mentality? Mike Vrabel. You want to know why I know Sean McDermott doesn't have that winner's mentality? Because he started Nathan Peterman over Tyrod Taylor a couple years back, and Nathan Peterman threw 5 picks, and that almost cost them their playoff appearance. You know who else deserves a little bit? So A.J. Brown. We're not even playing with a full squad, and we beat them. And you know what I love most about this? Every single NFL pundit on NFL.com and ESPN has said it was a fluke win. They were like, it feels fluky. Why you want to call fluky when the results are there? It's fluky when it's like a bad call that's overturned by the refs or whatever, a la Giants-Dodgers. It was pretty simple. We knew you were running a sneak. We put 300-pound men in the line to stop it. Y'all don't want to respect that? Y'all don't want to say, oh, hey, if there's real bad coaching decisions like this by Sean McDermott in the future, you know, they're going to have a problem. Y'all can't say, oh, hey, the Titans defense actually did good stopping the run because Devin Singletary only had 5 carries for 27 yards. No, you just want to hate. But hate because you know there's a truth in you. We're not competitors. We're not the class of the AFC, but we get healthy. And Derrick Henry does Derrick Henry things. Do you really want to see us and have us take the time of possession away from you? Well, we're going to run the ball 30 times with someone who's proven that he's better than your quarterbacks and your running backs. You're Mr. Kyler Murray's, who's running for something 300 yards a season. Well, our running back's better than that. Is he better than the running back that you already have in James Conner and Chase Edmonds? Yeah, he's better. That's who I'm calling out on. Those pundits over there in Arizona. He is your MVP, and you don't have the heart to put him in there. You know who mentioned him as being possible MVP candidate? Finally, Maurice Jones-Jr. on NFL.com. Because I've been following stuff. But let it be known, I was calling for that stuff. Because explain to me, Francisco and Andrew, how if this man finishes, and he just might finish with 2,500 yards and 25-plus TDs. We're going to give it that. We're not going to say 30. I think that's a very hard thing to come into even the extra game. But 20-plus TDs rushing and 2,500 yards, why he can't be MVP, but it's got to be Kyler. It's got to be Josh Allen. This matchup was not a matchup of the next generation of AFC stuff. Our window will eventually close because we won't pay anybody. I get that. This was a matchup of like the fraudulent MVP contender and the true one. Acknowledge him. He isn't just going to get a handy. He's Derek 2 hands handy, man. Because I ain't got the grip, man, with single one. And I love it. That's all I got for you.
Okay.
34-31. Remember that. And also helps us because we're 4-2. So, now take it.
Possible other AFC championship matchup again. That would be nice. That'd be nice and juicy. For sure. Okay. So, I guess the last thing. NBA started, but it just started this week. Okay, we had the initial games and stuff like that. There's not really much to say other than the Heat are spanking the Bucks. That's all we gotta say for now. Okay. And right. So we're at 2 hours and 9 minutes. Charles, you have a, I guess, more abbreviated cage, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so I mentioned the Okada thing. I'm just gonna give my overview on Crown Jewelry quickly, and I'll just do my spiel. Welcome, everybody, your weekly Truplex, The Cage with Charles. Remember, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's about men and women chasing championships, establishing legacies, blood feuds, being a soap opera, all the drama going on. We are 2 hours into Crown Jewel watching. Obviously, we're not going to go to full 4 on the show. We could, that's fine, but we're not. People want to eat, people want to nap, people want to live their lives. Some impressions I want to talk about that I have seen. Andrew, you ready for the spoilers now?
Yeah.
Seth and Edge Hell in a Cell, fantastic. 4-7-5. There's a callback to Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard I Quit match where Seth tries to stab Edge's eye out with like a chair scaffold, and it's beautiful. Seth Rollins did a sunset flip bomb on a ladder, off a ladder, onto a table that put Edge through the table. Edge is coming back from that triple fusion that stopped his career for 9 years. Good back and forth. There was move stealing. Man. I love move stealing in rivalry. This has been the best WWE rivalry for the year, in my opinion. It's going to be feud of the year. I don't think anything's going to be topping it. It ends with Edge. Oh, there was a part where Seth put a chain around his foot and then double kicked, super kicked Edge in the face. That sunset bomb I talked about, Seth went for the pin. Edge kicked out. There's a point where Edge pushed Seth off top of the rope to go into the steel cage or inside the hell, and then he fell on the table. Spots galore, well done. Felt old school with the new school in a gimmick match, and it ends with Edge at the end of the day. So Seth Rollins' finisher, Francisco and Andrew, is the curb stomp. Exactly as it sounds like. Edge, wins using the curb stomp, Seth's own move on a chair. If Derrick Henry was happy with me and the result, I was happy with this result. It was so good. Mansoor versus Ali. That was a good match with a weird post-match ending. Ali won that one. In a quick match, probably could use 5 more minutes time. RK Bro versus Amos and AJ. Raw Tag Team title match. Kind of lost me a little bit. Kind of the same thing of how they had on SummerSlam and expanded on, but whatever. It's like a 3. Queen's Crown tournament. Zelina Vega is your first ever Queen's Crown champion. It's basically the female equivalent Queen of the Ring. I thought Doudrop was going to win. It was a nice word. The match was actually good because Doudrop is like, 5'7", 5'8", very buff, burly girl, very cool. I like her. She used to be Piper Niven. They renamed her because that's what Vince does, because I hate him. And then Zelina Vega, who's all of like 5 foot, maybe a $105, and she wins on a sunset flip bomb. And then we got into, I can't even look at the screen because if I get spoilers, right now we're halfway through Bobby Lashley and Goldberg and the no DQ, false on anywhere. It's been good because it's just meat slapping meat. And even though I like my flips and my spots and all that other stuff, my super kick parties, I see you Young Bucks, follow us on Twitter, FJOJR, Dan Frijoles, Charles the True, Sports Goofs. I still love some big, strong men beating the hell out of big, strong men. And that's what we're going to get at for the cage this week. And maybe we'll talk more about it next week, maybe a regular time of show. But that's all I got for you guys.
Well, that was quick. All right. Okay, guys. So this is actually under the normal time that we finished up. Usually 2 hours and 20, 2 hours and 30 minutes, but we actually got this more concise, maybe because we were starting late and we felt like we had to rush through it, but we got through everything. We talked about everything. We got through all of it. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. I would assume we might start with the same Tuesday start, but just at a later time. And also be on the lookout for the second ever entry in Andrew's Sports Bar. So we'll get that going. And see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Jimmy Butler getting Butler Besos.
Oh, wait. Before we leave, I forgot. This thing was titled Jimmy Butler's pregame routine. We're going to say stuff about that. Oh, well. Next week. We'll do that next week.
The one thing we could tell you is Jimmy Butler watches Harambe's murder to make sure the guy he's guarding don't slip on him.
I laugh out loud. It still gets me. Okay, I'm done. I'm out.
Night.
Florida State. Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, where the fans have gathered to cheer on their team. This is a great day for football, and we're anxious to get this game underway between the Virginia Cavaliers and the Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm Brad Nessler, joined in the booth, as always, by Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. You ready for a rivalry matchup? As always, when these two teams get together, they just don't play to win. They play to destroy each other. The Cavaliers are just hoping they don't get humiliated out there, in my opinion. Lee?
Oh, I absolutely agree with you, Brad, 100%, and I'll tell you why. Virginia Tech has a huge advantage in one particular area, the running game. Kirk, look for them to run the ball 40 to 50 times in this game and absolutely demolish and demoralize this defense. Big win in this one.
Coach, I think you're right. I think this one's a blowout. Virginia Tech is led offensively by their highly talented wide receiver. Brad, I think he could have a career